Hello, my name is Jordana Borenstein, and today I want to share why perfectionism is a trap and how to shift your mindset so that you're not blocked by this invisible roadblock that we love to put up for ourselves. So firstly, the reason why perfectionism is a trap is because it doesn't exist. It is an illusion. It is an illusionary, invisible benchmark of success that doesn't actually measure up, because what you believe to be perfect, what I believe to be perfect, and what your boss believes to be perfect are three completely different things. So if we're always aiming for perfect and saying to ourselves, I need to be perfect before I create, I need to be perfect before I put this book out, I need to be perfect before this video comes out, there's no such thing. We're literally just setting ourselves up with roadblocks and benchmarks and steps that we're never going to achieve, and we're sabotaging ourselves from reaching whatever the dream is beyond the fear that we're experiencing. For example, and the reason why I can very validly speak about this is I have done stand-up comedy for years. And at the very start, I was like, oh my God, my set needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. I'm also a keynote speaker. And at the start of that career, I was like, it needs to be perfect. And now I realize that the mistakes are where the joy is. The mistakes are where the vulnerability is. The stuff that happens in the moment, the spontaneity is the absolute best part when we're actually sharing, because that's what audiences connect with. That's what they love. They don't love the pre-planned, pre-scripted, premeditated, I'm just going to give you a clinical rendition of this speech or of these jokes. There's no heart in that. There's no space. There's no space to breathe either for us or for our audience. So perfectionism is just, it's a trap that stops and blocks us. And really, we put it there ourselves. So it's up to us to actually break it down. I have a story to share of a really good thing that I always reference in my life because, it was such a roadblock. So this was a book that I created, my first one, called Capture My Attention, How to Stand Out Online with Creative Content. I used to be a journalist and I read this 1,000 times. It was copy edited. It was proofread. It was read by friends that used to work at the newspaper that I worked at. It was checked to the moon and back. I checked it 1,000 times. I was so scared that there was a spelling mistake that I had hundreds of copies in my apartment for literally 6 months. They came in 2015 and it didn't get into stores until 2016 because of me. I was so scared that there was one typo or one spelling mistake. I was too afraid to even open it, to have a look, to read it, this piece of work that I'd spent 18 months creating. And I basically delayed the entire date of release to put it out into the world, even though it was a beautiful finished production, because I was scared that there was a spelling mistake. And the amount of energy that actually took for me, every time I walked past the boxes of books, I would shudder and I'd be like, I can't look. And that energy, we don't need that energy in our life. That is such a negative drain on our important resources. Plus, the other thing is two other things, actually. Number one, there was no typo, okay, because it was so thoroughly looked at. And even if there was, people don't pick up a book on capturing attention with creative social media marketing to see if there is a full stop where it shouldn't be or a apostrophe where it shouldn't be. But that is what I was telling myself. Oh my gosh, it needs to be perfect. There can't be a spelling mistake. There can't be anything wrong. What if, I went through all of the worst case scenarios. What if the chapters are wrong? Or what if this box is in the wrong place? Or what if this word didn't go through? Or what if the last edits that I made didn't actually go through? Like, I went through so many what ifs. I was just trapped in that loop of it needs to be perfect. I'm scared something is going to be wrong. And it was a default mindset of it's not going to work out. So I look back at this experience and I'm like, what a waste. What a waste of time. What a waste of energy. What a waste of getting this beautiful creation out into the world for 6 months. The energy that I spent looking at those boxes and going, oh my God. So I actually made a promise to myself that I would never create another book unless it was in a pure state of joy, which is exactly what I did for my next book. I only did it in joy and delight because I learned a very important lesson. So perfectionism is a benchmark that we set ourselves. It sabotages and blocks us from achieving our dreams. And even worse than that, it stops us from expressing our beautiful, creative energy with the world. So if you're creating something and you want to get something out there and you've got something to share, but you need it to be perfect, break down that barrier yourself. So basically, in a nutshell, if you've got something incredible that you're actually creating, don't let your own perfectionism stop you from getting it out there, because it is a gift. Any level of creative expression is a joy to share with the world. And we think people are going to judge us because it's not perfect, but instead people actually support us for finding our own creativity and our own form of expression and sharing it with the world, because it's a joy. And when we give joy, we radiate joy, and it's such a blessing for the world. So thank you so much for watching. Please tell your friends about this video. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Okay, good. So basically, in a nutshell, if you've got something incredible that you're actually creating, don't let your own perfectionism stop you from getting it out there, because it is a gift. Any level of creative expression is a joy to share with the world. And we think people are going to judge us because it's not perfect, but instead people actually support us for finding our own creativity and our own form of expression and sharing it with the world, because it's a joy. And when we give joy, we radiate joy, and it's such a blessing for the world. So thank you so much for watching. Please tell your friends about this video. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. One more thing I do want to bring into this conversation is the fact that the best stuff happens, as I sort of said, when it's unplanned. So I am a keynote speaker, an MC, former stand-up comedian, current humorist, magician, mentalist. I do a lot of stuff on stage with audiences, with crowds. And I have to say that doesn't matter how much I plan, what slides I have, what content I have, what the approach is going to be, the best stuff happens that is not actually planned. The best stuff happens in the imperfect moments that are totally unscripted, where I'm having a conversation with the audience and there's so much humor in it, or there's a dynamic that hasn't actually been premeditated. It's all the stuff that happens in the moment where the true joy lies. And none of that is perfect, because none of that can actually be planned. It all just happens spontaneously in the moment, because that is where the true magic lies. And one more thing, human beings are not perfect. Life is not perfect. Mistakes are where the gold lies. That is what the journey of life is all about. So why should creations, productions, things that we make, things that we share, why should there be pressure to create something that's perfect when life is not perfect and we are not perfect, and our vulnerability is actually our strength? I think that is where I'll finish. Once again, please subscribe, because I will come back with more golden nuggets and amazing life stories, as you saw next video. See ya.